if you're out there, I sure as hell hope you're not watching this.
Hello everyone, I'm Ben Ketchum. Welcome back to this season of On the Hill. We're a little short-staffed this time around because we're in the middle of midterm season and I appear to be the only person on campus who's gotten through all of them. There's been a lot of uproar about the incredible demand for UNC football tickets this season. Before UNC Athletics realized just how terrible the original Lord of the Flies ticketing system was, many outraged students were forced to forage for tickets on the black market, a dark side of Facebook we have dubbed the Carolina Blue Market. Was all this madness really worth it, though? I was able to get a ticket to the Miami game, but I ended up sitting next to a 40-year-old bald man who kept burping into his hand. I was in the student section. In other football news, after firing former head coach Larry Fedora, the Heels have brought back legendary coach Mack Brown to UNC. You heard that right, folks. Mack is back. The man who coached the Heels to a victory over Mississippi State in the '92 Peach Bowl and led the team to 5 consecutive bowl games has returned to Chapel Hill. Yet, most students will have this reaction upon seeing a photo of the bona fide legend.
What the hell is... Ooh, y'all are really testing me on some stuff that I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
In more pressing news, it is November, which means award season is officially upon us. Your Emmys, your Oscars, your Tonys, all of them revving up into full swing. To help out getting ready for the celebration, we have Millie Zeichner, who is helping the campus get ready for film's biggest night.
Hello, you Jokers and Wonder Women. I'm Millie Zeichner, and I want to talk to you about movies. Hi, I'm here with
Jessica Uba.
So we're talking Oscar nominations today. I want to know, how do you feel about Reed Alexander finally getting Oscar recognition after being snubbed in 2010 for his poignant performance as closeted teenager Neville Peppermint in iCarly?
I appreciate that. I think that's great. I'm happy for him.
Great. This year we had some very welcome surprises, such as German thespian Heinz Doofenshmirtz being honored as a first-time nominee for his performance as a troubled scientist attempting to reconnect with his teenage daughter in soon-to-be classic Malice Integrated. Thoughts?
I think that's really good for Doofenshmirtz. I feel like it's a great opportunity for him, a great TV show.
I agree. So I want to know, the Oscar nominations were announced yesterday. How do you feel about Reed Alexander finally getting Oscar recognition after being snubbed back in 2010 for his role as a closeted teenager as Neville Peppermint in iCarly?
I was unaware that Neville was nominated, but more power to him.
Power to him.
I was more so a Gibby guy, but
Maybe. I can see that.
I'd rather him have the nomination.
He's a good dude. This year we had some very welcome surprises, such as German thespian Heinz Doofenshmirtz being honored as first-time nominee for his performance as a troubled scientist attempting to reconnect with his teenage daughter in the soon-to-be classic Malice Integrated. Thoughts?
I guess Doofenshmirtz, I was never the biggest fan. I feel like I say that, but Perry the Platypus.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right. And there you have it, folks. Clearly Tar Heels are binge watching their favorite movies and shows. And with that, I wish you a happy award season. And this has been Millie in the Pit.
Thank you, Millie. In other Hollywood news, former Pale Broomstick Robert Pattinson has been cast as the Dark Knight in Matt Reeves' The Batman, set to hit theaters summer 2021. From what we can tell, Pattinson has spent the past 7 years preparing for the role, as there has been nothing going on in his career since Breaking Dawn. I mean, most people would probably be like, Pattinson as the Dark Knight? I mean, does anybody really think this scrawny guy could win in a fight? Might as well start calling him Bruised Wayne. But all things considered, he does look like he's been getting pretty buff for the role. I mean, his casting makes sense to me. First a vampire, now a bat. Speaking of ominous animals, a Black Panther was recently spotted hopping the rooftops of Lille, France. Yes, you heard that right, folks. The Black Panther, one of the MCU's most successful superheroes, out on the rooftops of France. Sorry, what's that? Oh. Okay, I'm now being told that this was actually a Black Panther, like the animal, not Chadwick Boseman. In fact, Chadwick Boseman might be the person that least wants to be called Black Panther right now. I mean, just look at him here. I don't know who's more upset about their own vehicle gaining traction, Boseman or Constance Wu going off on Twitter after the news of Fresh Off the Boat's renewal. Amazon is developing a Lord of the Rings prequel series to air on Prime Video. To discuss what we can expect from it, please welcome professional Tolkienologist Cecil DeMilk.
Hey, Ben.
So Cecil, what can we expect from Amazon's Middle-earth series?
Well, J.R.R. Tolkien, J.R.T, Jurt for short, left behind an incredibly large and rich body of work. Not many filmmakers can do it justice, but if Amazon plays its cards right, I think they have a chance to make something that can rival the legacy of Game of Thrones, or at least Lena Dunham's Girls.
You know, it's interesting that you say that. Most people would see Lord of the Rings as very different from those shows.
Oh, you aren't familiar with Jurt's earlier work. It has everything modern audiences could hope for. Politics, power, violence, intrigue. The only thing it's really missing is sex. And if you want to hear more on that subject, you can just look at my works on archiveofourown.org.
Okay, well, what do you think we're going to see on the show?
So, based on what's been released so far, we know it's going to be set somewhere between 6,427 and 3,140 years before the events of Lord of the Rings. In that time period, the main focus is going to be on our main man Sauron, aka Myron, Gorthar, Anatar, Zeger, the Necromancer, the Prince of Cats, the Lord of Werewolves.
I'm hoping at least one of those was made up.
His is the story of the raw, seductive power of evil. We could see him take fair form to catfish the elves of Eregion and trick them into forging the Rings of Power. Or we could see him in the court of Ar-Pharazôn, the last king of Numenor. There, Sauron goes from being a prisoner in Ar-Pharazôn's court to being the king's closest advisor and, dare I say, lover, in a span of 3 years, until he sinks Numenor into such depravity that the entire island is washed away in God's hot fury.
So, as a Tolkienologist, what does your work typically consist of?
Well, obviously, the breadth and depth of Jurt's work leaves open a lot of room for literary analysis. For example, anyone who's read The History of Middle-earth, Volume 10, Morgoth's Ring, will know that the mythos is heavily inspired by Catholic theology. And what's more Catholic than getting down on your knees and asking Daddy for forgiveness, which is exactly the type of action I predict we'll see between Sauron and Ar-Pharazôn.
Okay, I think that's enough.
If you want to hear more about the subject, just read my latest paper, Queer Performance in the Discord of the Ainu Lindale, Why Sauron is the Power Bottom.
Okay, how has your work been received by the rest of the Tolkien community?
I think it's been very influential among other scholars of Jurt's work, or at least the ones on Tumblr, and I actually have gotten a letter from Christopher Tolkien. If you try to contact me again, I will get a restraining order.
And you make a living doing this?
Well, you see, I actually just lost my faculty position, which is why I think it's important that everyone who's passionate about independent scholarship go on my Patreon and consider giving...
Okay, that's definitely enough. Cecil, everyone.
Namarie!
Speaking of bad movies, human-sized circus peanut Donald Trump has recently suggested nuking hurricanes in order to prevent them from reaching shorelines. This really just sounds like the president is trying to recreate the events of Geostorm. Although, with all this talk of irreversible climate change, it seems likely that this will happen with or without the Tangerine Tornado's help. Fried chicken restaurant Popeyes has become a very hot topic of discussion over the past few months due to their new chicken sandwich, which has been a huge hit with customers. The sandwich has been running out all over the country due to massive demand, which seems a bit strange to me. I mean, Popeyes running out of chicken? That's like Genghis Khan having a low sperm count. On the topic of sperm, a cattle breeding farm in Australia was put in a sticky situation when 100 cylinders of bull semen caught fire. Sources close to the incident say this was a huge blow for business. Canadian hunk Prime Minister and now certified racist Justin Trudeau has been put on blast recently due to photos of him posing in black and brown face surfaced on the internet. Trudeau apologized for revealing his Halloween look a little too early this year. Saturday Night Live recently announced the hiring of 3 new cast members, including Shane Gillis. Gillis was fired only 4 days later over racist and homophobic comments he called jokes. Word on the street is he's now attending a support group with the likes of Papa John, Paula Deen, and Justin Trudeau. But this wouldn't be the first time the show has failed to properly vet someone before having them on, even if the evidence is there for everyone to see. While we're on the subject of notable figures doing terrible things, we regret to announce that longtime producer and anchor Jared Warner has been indefinitely suspended as we further investigate claims that he has been embezzling from On the Hill. As it turns out, our $50 budget for the last 2 years was actually $5,000. Turns out Jared was just deleting zeros so we could save up to study abroad in London.
Allegedly.
What do you mean, allegedly? We all saw the video. Roll it.
Hello and welcome to On the... I'm so sorry. I miss saying that. I want to apologize to everyone at the show. I didn't think about the consequences of my actions, and I'm so sorry. But I also feel like I'm being treated very unfairly. Everyone's being very harsh. Look, all I wanted to do was study abroad. Is that so wrong? And using the E word, embezzle. Like, that is just such a dirty word, even if it is technically accurate. And I saved us $50 a semester so we could still buy pizza. Now, did I ever actually buy pizza for the show? No, but we always had the option, and that's what matters. And what would I have done with that money anyway? Gotten new cameras, hired competent writers, finally replaced Zuri. Anyway, I'm really sorry, okay? And just please don't fire me. On the Hill is all I have, and if you do fire me, I've recently come into several $1,000s, and I will hire lawyers to tear your show to the ground. So don't test me. See you in the spring, and live from London, it's an oncoming lawsuit.
Well, I guess that's pretty clear then. Only time will tell whether Jared will have his job back when he returns home from London. In the meantime, I have not been Justin Bieber. I'm Ben Ketchum, and we'll see you next time on The Hill.